This is the 91st minute. All right, time for the 91st minute roundup. We got a lot to get to tonight because there was a lot of other stuff happening. First of all, Newcastle United romping to an 8-0 win over Sheffield United. First time in history that 8 different players scored. Cart, did you happen to see any of this one?
I saw some of the goals. I saw one. The thing that caught the highlights was a challenge by a Sheffield United player that was deemed only a yellow card. I don't know if you saw that. It was a double tackle.
I did not.
Guy went in pretty hard, but it was a hard, fair tackle because he kind of went in side foot and the player was gone. But yeah, tons of goals for Newcastle. I actually took it. This was after the North London derby. So I woke up at 6 a.m. to watch the North London derby. And then when this game came on, I took a nap. I was like, I need to get some more sleep. It's a Sunday. I'm going to get some more sleep. And then, so I didn't watch the game. But yeah, 8-0. Good stuff for Newcastle. They needed it as well.
8-0. Yeah, indeed. And they will feature again in my player of the week. We'll get to that.
Okay.
But yeah, next up, Chelsea. Just in the mud. This time, a 1-0 loss at home to Villa. Gusto sent off. I asked you guys last week, what does Poch have to do to turn this around? What is going on? Anyone chime in on Chelsea? What is happening?
Vincent Jackson isn't it, man? I really think they need someone to... Oh, sorry, yeah. Who's Vincent Jackson? I think he's a football player.
He's Vincent Jackson. I'm like, wait, who?
Nicholas Jackson. He needs... Yeah, they need a striker. I think Broja made an appearance in the game, and he missed a header late in the game as well. So maybe Broja comes in. Maybe he's coming back from injury, so maybe he'll be starting some games. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's real tough for them right now. It's the relegation battlers. Apparently, Haaland has scored more goals than Chelsea's in the Premier League since his debut, or something. Some crazy.
They are a running meme on socials as well right now. I saw earlier somebody posted a every assistant goal from Mudryk video, and it was just clips of Mudryk just sort of running around and not really doing much.
And if Chelsea don't score this midweek, apparently they're gonna have to pick their goal of the month from training because they haven't scored a goal this month yet.
Oh boy,
which is just pretty funny.
Yeah. All right, next up, Liverpool with another 3-1 win. I said earlier they're the team to beat other than City right now. They're scoring for fun, enjoying this season. I said to you last week, are they contenders?
They're up there, right? They're second in the table. They look the real deal. Their midfield is clicking. Szoboszlai's fitted in perfectly. Darwin's missing some big chances, scoring some miraculous chances as well. You gotta hand it to them. They're putting a little run together. I think they're on the longest unbeaten streak in the Premier League as well right now. So you never know. They could put something together here.
It makes for an interesting clash next week with Tottenham, I think, because you've got obviously Ange Ball, as everybody is banging on about, and and an informed Liverpool. So that should be an interesting game.
Yeah, it will be a good one. Will be a really good one.
Over to La Liga real quick. Atletico with a 3-1 win in the Madrid derby. Morata with an early goal and a brace to finish the game. Griezmann with the third. Real Madrid now sit behind Girona in the table. I'm only joking with that one. They're third. But I just thought it was funny to say that. So Atleti get the bragging rights for this first meet of the season.
Yeah, I watched this game actually. It was really good. Atletico I think they scored all of their goals on headers, and Alaba and Rudiger just weren't able to sort out the marking for Morata and Griezmann in the middle. And a lot of the crosses came from the Atletico's left side, where Lucas Vazquez was over there on the right. And Lucas Vazquez, not a natural right back, and I think he had trouble closing down the crosses. And Alaba was in no man's land a couple of times for some of those headers. I guess he's not the best in the air. I don't know. I mean, they just kind of smashed and grabbed there. Madrid have a really interesting squad. They replaced Benzema with Joselu, and they didn't really sign any backups there as well. So Vinicius Jr.'s out. He's injured. and they really don't have that attacking threat. Rodrigo wasn't able to do it by himself. It was Bellingham, Modric.
Couldn't get in on it.
Yeah, Bellingham, Modric, and Rodrigo as your front three attackers. They look decent in build-up and whatnot, but that lack of cutting edge, that lack of tooth left them with long shots. Toni Kroos scored a nice long shot, but there was
It's
just a
so
bunch of long
unlike
shots.
Madrid to have like a, you know, world-class 9. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's so weird to me that they don't have one. I think everyone knows it was supposed to be Mbappe, right?
Yeah,
I think that hole is Mbappe shaped, and whether or not he fills it is to be determined. But that's a mess. Just trying to get him is a mess. But I'm pretty sure that was the plan, and now it's you can see it's missing.
yeah, it's tough. I mean, and you never know what will happen. Mbappe coming could be up in the air. It might not happen. He looks pretty comfortable at PSG. They're putting a whole project together for him. So I don't know.
For sure. The other game in La Liga I wanted to touch on was Barcelona, top of the league. They came back from 2-0 down with 3 goals in the last 9 minutes of the game. Lewandowski, whose name I've been practicing in the mirror, and Cancelo with the goals. And then after the game, Cancelo's facial expressions were brought up in the Discord. What was that about? Because I'll tell you what it looked like to me after you tell me what actually was the reason for that. What was going on with the facial?
I have no idea. I like to think, he was on cocaine or something, just something like insane.
We're on the same
smelling,
page.
Some smelling salts, maybe he got a whiff of something. I don't know what was going on.
Anyone in chat from Barcelona wants to elaborate on that? What that reminded me of was those 90s rave videos where people had taken a lot of ecstasy and were gurning. Do you know what I mean by gurning? Like,
I think I know what you
eyes
mean.
wide. Like it's a side effect of drugs anyway, and that's what it looked like to me. I was like, what is happening?
Have you heard of like Alpha Brain? Like it's a Joe Rogan supplement.
Yes.
From On It. So I wonder if like they take stuff like that before games, and like they're like wired for the game, and then it starts to wear off, and they're still trying to do interviews and like the adrenaline hype or whatever, winning the game.
Maybe.
And they're like trying to wake up their face, like, trying to, I don't know, maybe something like that. I have no idea, but it was a great comeback. And Joao Felix, his assist for Lewandowski, that first one it's like he's doing the thing about I like about Joao Felix is he feels like a throwback player, and that he's like a classic number 10 kind of feel. He does those little things that kind of a bigger frame. Beautiful little chipped assist for Lewandowski. If you get a chance, check it out. Cancelo.
Yeah, Felix looks happy.
Yeah.
Looks like he's enjoying his football again.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He does.
Serie A, before we touch on the Champions League, Serie A, both Milan teams getting a 1-0 win this week. They are first and second in the league respectively. I did, for a laugh, say can Inter win every game this season. They've played 5-1-5. So it's fun to think about, isn't it?
They're the only team outside City that are 5 for 5 in the, or 6 for 6, or they're undefeated in the leagues, basically 100% record
exactly.
right now. Someone lost or drew this week. I can't remember who it was.
Napoli drew this week. They've been quite disappointing compared to last season. I feel like they've got that hangover from winning it. Like I reckon they went full Jack Grealish after winning the title, and like they still have a hangover. That's what it looks like to me. But yeah, they have not been firing on all cylinders at all. And even the Georgian wonder kid, he's been a lot quieter so far this season.
Yeah. Maybe they've figured it out.
Yeah, Champions League.
Oh yeah.
With the first group games of the Champions League, Newcastle got a huge point in their difficult group. Speaking of Milan, away at AC, Arturo Vidal said this was the worst game he's ever seen, and Newcastle were disgusting. And he saw some.
I didn't see the game, so I'll take his word for it because it was 0-0. But Arturo Vidal's coming out with a lot of quotes lately. Is he like an analyst somewhere? He must be an analyst somewhere.
I guess so. I'm not sure.
He said something about Ten Hag having issues at United because he's bald or something. Like I can't remember exactly what he was saying. He was like, you can't trust bald people or something. He said, but yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Something about I was very frustrated with the way Newcastle played at the Emirates last year. I don't know if you remember that. They were time wasting from minute one, to the point where it was ludicrous that it was being allowed to happen. Like, I think that the ball was in play for like 41 minutes or something stupid. So yeah, Vidal, not the most popular character in football anyway, but I just thought it was funny. Whatever you think of that, that's a big point in that group. We did pick that group as the hardest group in the Champions League group stage, and to get a point away at Milan, I think it's a big result for Newcastle.
Yeah, definitely.
Celtic lost 2-0 to Feyenoord. It's a rough start in their group game. They also had a man sent off in the 63rd minute, or 2 men sent off. Did they have 2 men sent off? I got to get confirmation.
Two
on
men
that.
were sent off. Yeah,
two men sent off. So yeah, unfortunate for them. Routine wins for Barcelona, Manchester City, yawn. Although Alvarez did stand out again in that, continuing his hot streak, 2 goals in that game. I don't know if you saw any of that.
I did see. I think I saw the highlights of that. Yeah, he looks.
Yeah.
To me, he's a top striker. I think if you put him in any team, you could expect him to get a lot of goals. It's just he's in the shadow of Haaland right now.
So in the sim racing community that I hang out in a lot, we have an Argentinian, and they were very frustrated with the lack of game time for him last season.
Yeah.
When I say them, I mean Argentinians. Football fans were very frustrated with that. I think, when KDB comes back, we said last week, I asked you guys, and you were like, he'll just come out the team for KDB. Man, I think that would be so harsh given the way he's played.
I wonder if KDB could drop deeper, play that Gundogan role or something, or maybe play out on the wing, or depending on what they need. But I mean, I imagine if City are down, you could see Alvarez, KDB, and Haaland on the pitch. But
the other group games I wanted to touch upon, PSG with a 2-0 win over Dortmund. Arsenal smashed PSV 4-0. That was easily the best performance Arsenal have put in this season, by the way. And it had somebody ask me this week, do you think Arsenal could be more of a threat in a competition like the Champions League, especially once it gets to knockout? Could we be more of a threat in that than the Premier League? And I thought it was an interesting question, because with everybody fit and playing well, like, it's just one of those, and I look to I just don't know myself. Like, you never know who the draw will throw up against you, and obviously you got to get through the group stage first. Could we be a threat in the Champions League? Because I don't think a Premier League win is on the card. So
I wouldn't write off your Premier League chances just yet, but
I'm being quite negative about it.
But I could see you guys in this group qualifying early on, maybe a couple games, a game to spare or something. Do you feel like maybe there was any hangover going into the Spurs game after that performance against PSV?
Definitely.
Like it was a little too easy, maybe, or something like this.
I did think in the second half, I thought some players looked tired. Plus, we had injuries from that game. And then obviously Rice, that could be a fatigue thing, right, as well. I think there's definitely a sense of a hangover, but it was great to see Champions League football back there, and it seemed like quite a big occasion for everybody that was there. You know what I mean? Like, it was a big deal. So it was easily the best performance of the season for the team.
I could see Arsenal. I could see, and I wouldn't say Arsenal will win the Champions League, but I could see them getting comfortably through the round of 16 and possibly into possibly further. I could see them getting to like the quarters easily, something like this. I don't know about semis and final. It's just too early to say.
It is,
but maybe they'll grow into the system Arteta wants, etc. What would a success for you be in the Champions League? Like solid type of thing. Because with the group, you guys got pretty fortunate with the group. Let's be fair.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, success would be being in the competition again next year.
Okay.
So that means top 4 or winning it, right? So it's like, Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't know. A run, knockout competitions. We haven't had a ton of luck in that competition. I don't know. We'll see. I just thought it was interesting. Somebody said maybe they felt that Arsenal were set up to have more success in a competition like that than the league. But yeah, I don't know.
It'll definitely be very, very exciting matches if Arsenal play some big guns, big wigs in that league. I'll be watching for sure. But yeah.
And that brings us to the last game to talk about. Bayern versus United, 4-3 to Bayern. I did have this game on in the background as well. To me, Bayern were always winning it, but it was an interesting game. Like, what did you make of it? Like,
yeah, I
happy
watched
that
it
you took them to 7 goals. Like
it wasn't. Yeah, I mean the scoreline flatters us a little bit, but United were just barely putting performances. I mean, Musiala turned Casemiro and blew by Eriksen. And it's just like that in a nutshell is a massive issue for us in midfield. That ability to track back and mark, the aggressivity, I guess you call it, tenacity. Stuff like that just destroys me. And then that Onana mistake, which you called that Onana would make a mistake like this. And there it was. I mean, we were in the game. The first 30 minutes, it was a pretty even game. And then that mistake just took the life out of United. And that's another big problem, right? The wind coming out of our sails so quickly. We just shut down, kind of a depressed feeling about the team after a mistake like that. But, if you look at the compilations on YouTube, our chances created, it's not so bad. We had one chance that I think Eriksen pinged a ball across the box to Facundo Pellistri, who got the start, which I was very happy about. And Alphonso Davies just barely got his foot ahead of it. And before the match, Ten Hag, in his blunt Dutch style, said Davies is not a good defender, basically, which was pretty funny. And obviously he's going to say it very bluntly. And I think what he's trying to say is defending is the weakest part of his game. But yeah, it had to be Davies who made a last-ditch tackle, like under the feet of Pellistri to deny the goal. But we were in the game until we weren't after that Onana debacle and Musiala turning Casemiro and Eriksen getting into the box and cutting it back. But yeah, it was rough. It's a tough one. Nice to see the fight back, but it's a little too late,
Yeah, it was. Bruno again, probably your best player.
Yeah, I mean, Casemiro came back with 2 goals towards the end. I mean, Casemiro's first goal was nice. It was a really good worked team goal. Little scrappy, but still came from a really nice team play. But we just can't seem to put those chances together consistently. We're still getting it in sparks, but it was a nice team build-up. But yeah, disappointing. If you told me we were going to lose in Bayern, I wouldn't have been surprised, but that Onana mistake just it's painful.
Yep, for sure. All right. And I mean, listen, I've seen our keeper do it, so
Subscribe to the 91st Minute here on YouTube and use the links in the description to follow us on all social media platforms.